The book really tells the story of Apple scaling, but just as China is wanting to assert itself, put itself more on the world stage, Apple has gone so deep into China that they're married, and it's a Catholic marriage. There is no divorce. They can't get out of this. China and Apple are very different in early 2000 than they are now. You can almost compare it to people getting married in their late teens and then finding themselves both feeling like they married a different person in middle age.
Patrick is the FT San Francisco correspondent covering Apple and US tech and has been writing for the FT since 2013 and has just recently released his latest book, Apple in China, which is both an insider account, historically, and a cautionary tale.
The number of people Apple trained since 2008 is 28 million people, greater than the labor force of California. And the amount of money they were investing in Chinese factories by 2015 was $55 billion a year. China did an amazing job, like sponges to learn. And there was just no better teacher than Apple. And this happens across hundreds of companies where they've been taught by Apple and they begin to supply the domestic homegrown companies.
Does Apple not anticipate that that's what's going to happen?
Let me give you my favorite quote in the book, which comes from a former Apple vice president. He says to me, "Are you sure you're not overthinking your thesis? Because you keep telling me about geopolitics, but I was there in China in the early 2000s when we were setting up the early supply chain. And I can tell you, we weren't thinking about geopolitics at all." The impact of Apple exporting its technology is not a story about globalization. It's very much a story about Chinification. As big as a corporation as you might be, Apple's not a country. There's no real dispute as to who has more power. China just has to flex a little bit, and Apple has to, unfortunately, fall into line.
You're sitting with now Xi Jinping. What do you advise him now in 2025?
For starters, I wouldn't take that meeting.
What lessons should Indian leaders be drawing from the way things have panned out between Apple and China?
I'm a huge advocate of Apple moving, heaven and earth to build things in India. I strongly hope that governors and mayors within Tamil Nadu and Karnataka are studying the rise of Shenzhen and thinking about what they can do. Maybe the best chance for India is to find the next Apple and to attract them rather than the current Apple. And look, if AI is going to be as big as it is, then maybe India should say, forget Apple, let's make sure that we're investing in data servers.